When is the best time to remortgage? Well, the answer to that depends on your situation. So, let's find out. Hey everyone, my name is Adam, I'm an expert mortgage broker. Welcome to the channel. Today we're talking all about remortgaging, what your options are, when is the best time to do it, and if you stay till the end of the video, I've got some extra tips for you on what you can spend the extra money on that you can release from your property. Now, as always, if you find today's video useful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, there's a new video coming for you every week. So, what does it actually mean to remortgage? Well, the term remortgage simply means moving from one lender to another. Easy, easy peasy. Lots of people think it means releasing extra money from your property. Oh, I had to remortgage to do this. It doesn't really, I mean, that is one of the options, but that's not the sole reason. It's just moving from one lender to the next. That's what we call a remortgage. Now, there's a few reasons why you might want to do that. For a start, it gives us the opportunity to kind of reset everything, reset your mortgage. As long as we have enough to pay off the old mortgage, we can start again with things like your term and the amount you borrow. So as long as we can pay off the old mortgage, whatever else we do on top of that is fine. So if you've got 25 years left on your mortgage, but actually you could afford a little bit higher payment now, we could take the term down. If things have changed and life's got a little bit harder, we could take the term back up, we can borrow more, we can borrow less, we can do all these sorts of things when we remortgage. So it's a really good opportunity to just reassess what we need. Now, the timing of when we can do this depends on what we're going to do. Now, there's a couple of options when it comes to your current rate ending and your remortgage. Option number one is stay with the same lender. So let's say you're with Nationwide, for example, now. If we stay with Nationwide, that might be the best option for us for a couple of reasons. So they may have the best rate. Actually, Nationwide is one that sometimes does have the best rate for an existing customer. A lot of other lenders, though, you're better off moving lenders. You just tend to get a better deal if you move lenders. Like so many things in life, you get a better deal as a new customer. But that's not the only thing. You may not have much choice if you're going to move lenders or not. If things have changed in your life, if your income has gone down, so you might have not gone back to work after having a baby, or taken a different job on a much lower salary, or maybe gone self-employed and this is your first year or your first couple of years and we haven't got the income figures yet to move lenders, well, don't panic, because we can always stay with the same lender. So you don't have to go off and swap lenders, you can always stay with the same one. However, things are a little bit more restrictive when you stay with the same lender. We don't have the same flexibility when it comes to changing the term and changing the amount we borrow. And the big thing, particularly at the moment, middle of 2022, with everything going up all around us, is that we can only do this, usually with most lenders, up to 3 months before your current rate ends. So before your current rate ends, your lender will start writing to you, and you can choose a new deal 3 months before that fixed rate ends, so that your new one can be ready. Now, 3 months is okay, that's fine, but I'm going to talk to you in a second about what we can do if we swap lenders. So, most people are better off swapping lenders. Now, it doesn't have to be a hard process, doesn't have to be difficult. You don't even have to spend hours and hours researching, because that's what people like us are here for. Obviously, this isn't a video about using us. You can use any mortgage broker, but if you do, they're going to be able to find the best lender for you. Now, if we change lenders, we have so much more flexibility on what we can do. So maybe we want to increase or decrease the term. I talked about that a second ago. Maybe we want to borrow a little bit more, or even a little bit less. Even if you borrow a little bit less, if you stay with the same lender, usually you have to go onto the variable rate for a month, make your overpayment, and then you choose your next rate after that. So it's a long time before you can actually choose the next rate. Whereas if we go to a new lender, we can get that set up right from the start. And the key reason at the moment why it's best to change lenders is that there's a lot of lenders we can go to where we can go there 6 months early. So we can do a new mortgage application 6 whole months before your current mortgage ends. That means we do the application, we secure the rate. That's the really big thing, we secure the rate. And then once the mortgage is offered and agreed, it just sits there ready and waiting. You don't start paying for it yet. You still got your old mortgage for 6 months. But once it's ready, it sits there. At the end of the 6 months, your current rate finishes, your new rate with your new lender starts, pays off the old mortgage, and away you go. Now the key there was that we secured that rate 6 months ago. So if you'd done that 6 months ago, now it's, what is it now? End of June now, and rates are going up and up and up. So if you'd done that 6 months ago, your rate would be secured. And with rates going up and things this year, you know, it's really, really important to get that sorted sooner rather than later. We're helping so many people get their new mortgages lined up 6 months early. So I'm not going to say it again because I'm harping on about 6 months, but that is one of the big reasons why we need to change lenders a lot of the time. A couple of other reasons as well why we might want to swap lenders. I mentioned a second ago that we're probably going to get a better deal swapping lenders as a new customer. I'll say it again, we can do it 6 months early, just in case you weren't listening a second ago. Now, the other reasons, if we want to make any other changes, so we might want to make some changes to the term. So if you want to increase or decrease your term, we're starting again with a new lender, so that's nice and easy. If you want to increase or decrease the amount you owe as well, so maybe you've got a lump sum to repay, we can do that, all as part of the same process. If you want to borrow some extra money, we'll talk at the end about what you can spend that money on, but this is a perfect time to be able to do that as well. Now, just lately, we've had a few people come to us and say, can I remortgage early? And the simple answer is yes, you can. However, we're talking early, you know, halfway through your fixed rate, not just 6 months early. So yes, you can swap lenders at any point, but if you're on a fixed rate currently, you're usually going to have what we call an early repayment charge. And we've had a few people thinking, well, actually, I'd rather pay that early repayment charge and fix the rate now for another 5 or even 10 years because rates are going up and I'm not sure what they're going to do. And whilst, yes, we can do that, we have to think about how sensible that is. And, you know, no one knows, you know, no one has a crystal ball, so we don't know whether that's a good thing or not. You can do it, but we have to weigh up how much is your penalty to come away from your existing mortgage, how much more is it going to cost you, and what do you think rates are likely to do. It's a decision only you can make. Happy to show everyone the figures for it, but it's got to be your decision. So yes, you can swap much earlier, you know, partway through your fixed rate if you want to, if you're really worried about rates going up, but we do need to factor in the penalty that you're going to have on your current mortgage. Now, how much you can borrow on your remortgage depends on loads of the same things that I talk about on lots of other videos, as your affordability. So it's all about your income and how your income is made up and how the lender assesses your income. And it's about your commitments as well. You know, if you've got other loans, debts, credit cards and things, children, all of that goes together to build up a picture of how much the lender is going to lend you. And that will be the same amount whether you're a first-time buyer or you're remortgaging. The lender's affordability is generally going to be the same. Let's assume then that we can borrow enough money. Let's also assume that your house price has gone up in value, because over the last couple of years house prices have gone up in value quite a lot. So we're finding a lot of people are really making the most of that increase in value, and we can do that in a couple of ways. So we can borrow some extra money. Now, there's a few most popular reasons why we might want to borrow extra money on your mortgage. The big one is home improvements. Home improvements covers all sorts of things you might want to do: a new kitchen, a bathroom, you might just want to decorate, you might want to landscape the garden, you might want to do an extension, you know, single story, double story. We've helped people do all sorts of things like that. So you can borrow extra money on your mortgage to improve your property, and that is perfectly acceptable. Pretty much every lender will allow you to do that, subject to how much your property is worth and how much you earn, obviously. But generally speaking, that is going to be okay to add onto your mortgage for the purpose of improving your home. Now, some people as well want to add on to their mortgage for other reasons. Now, there's another reason, probably one of the second most common reason we get, and that is what we call debt consolidation. I've talked about this on some other videos as well. Debt consolidation is just really when you take money out of your mortgage and you pay off some other debt with it. So we're taking debt here to repay debt there. Now your mortgage usually is on a nice low rate compared to things like credit cards and personal loans, which can be on quite a high rate. So your mortgage at 2 or 3% maybe, depending on when you're watching this, is probably going to be a lower rate than any other debts you've got. However, it's going to be over a longer term, a much longer term, 20 years, 25 years, longer maybe. Whereas your personal loan is going to just be over a handful of years. So there's certain things that we need to be very careful of. We shouldn't be consolidating like 0% credit cards and things like that, small amounts. We need to be very careful and make sure that it is absolutely the right thing for you to do. But it is an option, and we've helped a lot of people reduce their monthly outgoings quite considerably by paying off loans and credit cards and adding it into the mortgage. What we tend to find as well is that if you can manage that monthly payment that you've got now with all those other things, actually putting it into one monthly payment on the mortgage means that you can overpay, you can pay extra on your mortgage and actually get it all paid off quicker. So that can be a really, really good option for some people, but we do have to be very careful, and that is individual advice. It is not right for everyone, so we have to go through your individual circumstances very carefully to make sure that that is right for you. Another reason we tend to increase people's mortgages is if they want to go off and buy another property. So we can release a deposit for another property, and that might be a property to rent out, buy to let. It might be a holiday home, a holiday let, whatever you want to do with a new property. But it is entirely feasible as long as you've got enough equity and enough income to raise money on your property to go off and buy another one. We wouldn't normally be able to, well, it depends on your situation, doesn't it? But we wouldn't normally be able to borrow the whole amount, but we can certainly get the deposit and the fees and the costs and things. We do that quite a lot. So that is a few examples of the things that we can release money for. I've got one that I don't like releasing money for. Ultimately, it's your mortgage, your property, you can do what you like with it. But I wouldn't normally recommend releasing money on your mortgage for things like cars and caravans and boats and holidays. Weddings is a bit of a funny one, but those are short-term things. Those are depreciating things. You take money out of your mortgage to buy a car, you're going to repay that over 25 years, but you're probably going to have a new car in 5. So things like that, I don't tend to recommend that people take money from their mortgage. There are other ways of financing those sorts of things which I think are better. Ultimately, it's up to you. But those are the things that we don't tend to recommend. But there's loads of things that it is suitable and sensible for, particularly home improvements or buying other properties. Now, I really hope you have found that useful. If you have any questions, please pop us a comment. Feel free to get in touch on our website as well. I'll pop links to our website, and you can book an appointment there as well with us if you would like to discuss your individual circumstances in more detail. Until then, I will see you on the next video next week. Take care.